Namaste, Jodhpur. I have been born and brought up in a very modest family, so I would like to take you through a little bit of that journey and then come back to what I'm going to talk about and how I'm going to relate it with my own life. So I was born and brought up in a family where even the two square meal was kind of, not to be predicted. So you have to look for whether it is going to be available or not available. So that kind of situation. We had a thatched house and where the rain will happen and then we'll have to find out the place where to sleep. So that's the kind of environment in which I did my master's, my graduation. I topped the university in graduation and also got the gold medal in post-graduation. I literally studied in kerosene oil lamp, which we used to have. And someday the kerosene oil will not be available, so you have to look for the lamp post. And when the lamp post will glow, I'll carry my book, run to the upstairs and, adjust in the light and then study. One of my teacher used to visit my place at that point of time. So, after a couple of visits he made, I asked him this question very honestly and from my heart. Why do you come to my house when we don't have the chair, even the chairs to offer to you? Because we didn't have any chair at home. He said, I'm not coming for chair. I mean, look at the profundity of a teacher, and we are here on the Teachers' Day. I feel so proud of, recalling some of these teachers who have actually taken care of the students as a gardener. That is the best comparison we can actually make of a teacher. So when I look at the carpenter, I find that the carpenter has a very great precision. So he would look at the wood, he will cut the wood in sizes, he will measure it. He has certain, product outcome in his mind, and then he is happy because he has been able to make what he really wanted to make, right? That's what carpenter is. But if you look at the gardener, he's also looking at some kind of outcome from his effort, but his outcome is very different. He's looking at the soil, he's looking at the manure, he's looking at the plants, and then he is putting plants which are very different plants, not a single product, right? So he puts different plants at different places, and he knows that which plant is actually going to survive in what kind of atmosphere. So in some plants he will give more water, some plants he will not give water, right? Some plants he will give manure, some plants he will not give manure. In some plants he will keep in the shade, some plants he is not going to keep in the shade. He's going to keep it in the outside sun. So that's what the teacher is all about. He's like a gardener. He knows that every student is different, and every student has a background, and it is his or her background that actually has to be taken into account when you are actually facing the student, when you are actually trying to teach the students something or the other. So that's the reason why I always think that gardener is a good example of a teacher. And when the plant is actually put in the soil, and the plant dies, let's say, it doesn't grow. Sometimes it happens that some of the plants will not grow. So whose fault is this? Is this the fault of the gardener, or is this the fault of the plant? A gardener will never say that is the fault of the plant. It's actually the fault of the gardener. Actually, he may have actually given more manure in that. He may have given more water in it, and that's why the plant died. And therefore, if a student is not learning, a lot of credit to this goes to, or credit or discredit goes to the teachers. And I have been very fortunate to have such kind of teachers who have actually been the gardener in my life. And that's the reason why I'm here on this stage to address on a very particular day, that is the Teachers' Day. Let me also tell you one more very interesting thing, that we were actually having this cooking system in our home, which is the wood-based cooking or the coal-based cooking. So it used to give a lot of smoke in the house. So whenever, at least 3 times a day, there will be a lot of smoke in the house. And when this smoke will be around, I was very fragile physically at that point of time. So it got me asthma. And I caught up this asthma because of this smoke at a very early stage of my life. And it became one of the hindrance of me doing a lot of things. Even if I wanted to do something interesting, wanted to go somewhere, the asthma actually used to come, in my way. And I'm still asthma, and I'm able to manage my asthma because I understood asthma in a better way. I have to keep this with me all the time. And today, if I don't tell you that I'm asthmatic, you will never be able to make out that I'm asthmatic. So over a period of time, I realized, I understood, I read about asthma, I met doctors, and I tried to deconstruct the whole mechanism of asthma and try and understand what is going to work for me. And today, I'm not going to hospitalize any time in a year. And earlier, we used to go, I used to actually go to the hospital at least twice a year, minimum, to be hospitalized for asthma. So, what I'm trying to say here is that, I developed the agency over a period of time over a difficulty called asthma. And now, if you ask me, I can run, I can walk, I can go to places. I'm visiting US almost like twice or thrice, Europe, South Asian countries. So I'm traveling quite a lot. And the asthma is not affecting me because I'm able to control asthma. So I have developed agency over asthma. Look at happiness. I mean, people are unhappy at a certain age. You say, okay, what happened to me? I'm unhappy. God must be not very happy with me. That's why I'm unhappy. You are unhappy because, you have not put enough effort into being happy. That's the policy, that's the point I'm trying to make here. It's like, learning mathematics. So if you're not good in mathematics, you can say, okay, I'm not good in math. I wish I could have been done better in mathematics. But the fact is that, you are not good in mathematics because you have not paid attention to mathematics. You have not given time to mathematics. You have not developed agency over mathematics. That's why you don't know mathematics. That's as simple as it is. If you don't have the biceps, this simply means that, you have not gone to the gym, right? If you go to the gym, then only the biceps will be formed. This is like, happiness. Happiness is like this. So happiness, if you have to develop the agency over happiness, that's the point I'm trying to make. Eating ice cream versus helping others is very interesting. I have never had ice cream in my life all through my early age, because of the paucity of money, because ice cream was there in the market. It's not that the ice cream was not there in the market. There was kulfi walas, there were ice creams, but I could not buy those things and eat. I always wanted to eat more ice cream in my life, but I could not do. So later on, I discovered that when I had some earning of my own, the first thing I would do is to eat a lot of ice cream, right? so I started doing the ice cream. But the problem with the ice cream is that you eat ice cream, you get pleasure out of it, you get happiness out of it. There is no doubt on that. Ice cream is a good thing. But the problem with ice cream is that you need another ice cream, you need another ice cream, another ice cream, another ice cream. It doesn't end anytime, right? And when you help others, when you work for others, what happens to you? You also get pleasure, you also get happiness, because you're helping because it gives you satisfaction somewhere, it gives you happiness somewhere. But just imagine the happiness that you get after eating ice cream and the happiness you get after helping others. Are they the same feeling? No, they are not the same feeling, right? Both are happiness, but the feeling is different. Why it is different? That you are eating ice cream, you're happy, you're helping others, you're happy, but these two happiness are not the same. When you're eating ice cream, there is a lot of neurochemical that works in your body. Is called dopamine. So a lot of dopamine is released. Anything which releases a lot of dopamine in your body is going to give you a happiness, which is almost like eating ice cream. For example, earning lots of money is going to give you dopamine. Achieving a goal is going to give you dopamine, right? Being recognized by somebody is going to give you dopamine. And therefore, our mind always tells us, go and have dopamine, because that's how our mind is trained. And our mind always says that this is happiness. But we might forget that helping others is also happiness, because when you help others, your body actually releases not the dopamine, it releases some other chemical, right? And that is known as endorphin. It's called oxytocin. It's called serotonin. These are the magic chemical that actually occurs in your body. And we need all these chemicals, combination of all these chemicals in our body. So I keep on lecturing a large number of people. I had this occasion of addressing the CEOs, group of CEOs and VPs. I asked them to list 10 things which will make them happy if they get. And to my surprise, I analyzed more than 2,000 questionnaire, and then I found that more than 80% of what they have written over there is all dopamine based. It's only 2 out of 8, on average 20%, was actually based on serotonin and oxytocin. So, when you have done this, and then at the age of 50 or 60, when you look back your life and ask this question, am I happy? And you find yourself nowhere. You're saying, okay, my happiness has been eluded. It's eluded because you did not develop that agency. The 10 things that you have actually found out for yourself, 8 are dopamine based. You didn't care for endorphin, you didn't care for oxytocin. That's as simple as it is. And therefore, when you plan your life, it is very important that we look at the short-term dopamine and long-term helping others. I'll talk about that in a while more on it. Who we are cannot be separated from where we come from. That's what Malcolm Gladwell has said in his book, Outlier. I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell, and I recommend that each one of you sitting over here must lay a hand on it and read. What is important is that, your background, the way you have actually been brought up is not going to be separated from what you do later on. And therefore, it's very important that what kind of habits you pick up in the early times, even though the days were not very good, but your habits must be good. Because if you have not been able to inculcate those habits, they will not stay with you. And that is going to tell on your achievements later on, your happiness, of course, in a big way. So, in my case, what was happening is that somewhere or the other, this was the urge in me to do well, present myself better. Even though, I have to do tuition, I used to do tuition, a lot of tuition, and I used to fund my own education. So if I have to do tuition, I'll do tuition. I'll get up in the morning, because if I have to do tuition, I have to get up in the morning. So I will get up early in the morning because of this, and I will take batch after batch the students. And I remember when I was in graduation, one of the best subjects that I had was statistics. And you know that statistics is a taboo for many students. And one of my colleagues, the peer, he came and said, can you teach me a little bit of statistics? Can you clarify that? I said, of course I can do that. So I started teaching him statistics. And then looking at that, the other friends and peers in the same class, they started coming to me. Oh, can you also teach me a statistic? Can you also teach me? And there was a time when the entire batch of my peer was my student, right? So that's how it happens. So life actually takes that kind of turn. And interesting thing about is that I met an engineer in my class, and he was very good in mathematics. I was not very good in pure mathematics. I was good in statistics, but not in pure mathematics. So and then being the engineer, he was not very good in economics, which was my subject, and I was good in economics. So, he started teaching me mathematics, and I started teaching him economics. And that's how we learned economics and mathematics. One of the things that I would like to talk about is the two of us actually thought that spoken is a very important parameter for development. How you speak, your pronunciation, your oratory is going to help you in taking you to the places. And this understanding we had quite early. But the environment was not that, where we can sit together and talk. People were not valuing this as a very important and credible thing. So two of us thought that we'll start this, doing this. So we used to give 2 rupees to our peon, and two of my friends, he and myself, the peon will keep the door, the room open for us for about an hour or 2 hours after the classes gets over in the college. And then we used to sit, 2 of us used to sit over there. And we used to talk about only one thing. What happened in my first class, what happened in the second period, what happened in the third period, which professor said what. I mean, this was the review that we used to do in the evening. So by doing this, we also developed the oratory and also developed the knowledge of the subject. And look and behold, what happened after that was very amazing to me. So many friends actually started asking us, can we join you? And then there was a number increased to 5, and the number increased to 10, and almost 40, 50 students joined the whole group. And then we used to do a big thing after that. That's how it happens. So it depends on, it doesn't matter where you start. The question is that, have you started well? That's very important. And the consistency is more important. If somebody is done with a consistency, you are bound to get the result. If it is not consistent, you're not going to get a result. That's very sure. And when we are talking about consciousness and existence, the idea that I would like to share with you is that I quickly realized that what you think is what happens. And the future is actually there in your mind. And your mind is so powerful that what comes to your mind is what is exactly going to happen. So it is not how we live on this earth depends on how we think who we are. Uh, but sometimes we need to walk on our feet, not on our head. It is not the existence that determines our consciousness. It's our consciousness that determines our existence. So it can go both ways. So people think that if my circumstances are not good, I cannot think big. But if you start thinking big, your circumstances can actually change, right? So, I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship between the two. So you have to understand. And I understood this very early. And that's the reason why, even if I was not very well equipped in terms of resources, I used to participate quite a lot. And one of the mantras of my participation was to prepare. The more time that you give to the preparation, the better performance you can actually put on, right? I started writing small articles in the newspaper when I was doing my graduation, and that was, the newspaper was from the planning commission called Yojana. Not because I wanted to be famous, or my friend will say, oh, look, he's a student, but he's still publishing in journal. Not because of that, because Yojana used to give me 40 rupees for that, one article. So, you know, my focus was 40 rupees, not the article. So I used to find out what should I write that the Yojana will accept. And then I started reading more on economics, and that became the source of my, growth in terms of knowledge in economics. And with this money, I used to buy books. So even at that point of time, I had a small library at home. When we had difficulty, even that time, I used to maintain my library. Your awareness about what you want to overcome, about yourself, your purpose has to be very clear. Your preparations, more you prepare, the better you become. So give time to everything that you do. Take out time, do some good preparations, and then participate. That's going to be the success mantra. Learn, keep on learning. There's no two-way. It has to be learning, and engagement. Go out and embrace. And that is what happiness is. Thank you so much.